Speaking of const, you really want to get it right from the beginning. Getting const correctness right is good for you. When you say, I take a const resource reference, you make it clear to everyone that you're not going to change the resource that's given to you. And of course, you, by taking a reference, may be getting a performance benefit. When you say, I have this limit, and you put const on it, makes it clear to everyone who reads it, you don't need to pay attention to whether or not anybody changed limit between line 3 and line 7002. Limit is const, it's not going anywhere. The same when you put const on member functions. Get name, const. Okay, I can pretty much guess from its name that it didn't change anything inside the class, but you've also put that const on there. I don't even need to read the code. That's not what's changing the current balance to -3 on my debugging journey. As well as all of the benefits to the humans who read your code, getting const right carries information to the compiler and to the optimizer. And they can do things knowing that a certain value will not change, that will bring significant performance benefit to your running code. Whenever you write a function, a member function of a class, you know, before you've even written the code for it, you know in the design, does this function change any of the member variables of the class? If I'm writing a bank account class and I've got a function called getBalance, I think we all know that that really shouldn't change the balance. We don't take a penny off of your balance every time you ask what it is. On the other hand, a function called deposit or a function called withdraw, you know that those change the balance. When somebody writes a class and they don't put any const anywhere, you end up doing what we call chasing const correctness. So I write a function which I label as const because I know it's const, and I call a method of a class somebody else wrote. And that method's not marked with const. And so the compiler says, actually, I don't know, that might change something I've said I won't change. So you're saying const is wrong here, Kate. And I'm like, but I'm not. I only called that guy's getBalance. There's no way it changed anything. Well, I go and I look in the header for that guy's whatever the function is, and gosh, he didn't mark it with const. Now I've got two choices. I can either give up on my claim of const, or I can try to persuade someone else to type 5 extra characters into their code, lots of places, and build their code. And I might win that argument with one guy once. So let's say I do, and he puts all kinds of consts in his code. When he builds it, he finds out that some of the functions he's calling weren't marked const. Now, the idea would be that this guy, this isn't really his problem, right? I'm the one who had the problem. He's not pro-const because he never consted any of his functions. Is now going to go over to some third person who wrote the next class down the chain and say, could you mark these things as const? Sooner or later, somewhere in this chain, you get a guy, or this is a gender-neutral guy, who says, are you people mental? I have work to do. My code builds, my code runs, my code passes all its tests, and I'm not messing with that because you think const correctness is a good thing. Well, damn, because const correctness is a good thing, but it's just so hard to put into a working product when it's mostly built. You need to do it as you go, before you actually write any code. Back when you're at that thing where you're saying, I'm going to have getBalance, which won't change any of the member variables, and deposit and withdraw, which will change the member variables. And I'm going to put the word consts right there in my header file as I declare these individual functions. And if it doesn't build right then and there, I'm going to chase somebody down. And we're going to nip this before it spreads across thousands and thousands of lines of working code. Some very subtle bugs have been found in the wild that would have not happened had there been const in the right place. You keep reading it, you keep thinking it's not changing it, but it is changing it, and const would have told you so. Therefore, it's really important to have const done properly in your project, but there's no denying it's incredibly difficult to add it later. So do it from the beginning. Make it a habit on even your simplest classes as you write them. Remembering const is just like remembering semicolon. It's what you should do, and your code will be cleaner and more correct for it.